Although the original name of the school was the Manchester School of Art, in the intervening period of 175 years, the school has gone through many changes and been part of a polytechnic system, then part of a new university. And we wanted to be clear that it's a very old art school with a big tradition, and it was built principally to help support the textile industry in the city.
Manchester wanted an art school when they had the cotton trade, and a few guys sat down and said, what can we do? It's all very well having all this cotton trade, but who's going to design the fabrics? And that's where we started from.
What we wanted to do was help the city, as well as the students here, to be internationally competitive. We spoke at length to various partners in the city and nationally, and one thing was very clear was that we needed to find a way to help the students to be more interdisciplinary, to be able to understand how they might work in a team situation, how they might be able to learn off each other from the different disciplines that they do. And there's this kind of lovely phrase that somebody quoted at me, that they needed to be a jack of all trades and a master of one.
We were involved in the planning right from the start, which was really about getting more of a community feel to the art school. The department was split over 2 buildings, and people were very hidden in their own little areas. So fashion students knew about fashion, and embroidery students knew about embroidery, and graphics knew about graphics, but they didn't know about each other.
The school that we found when we first came here, everything was behind doors, everything was within corridors, and it just felt totally wrong. And you walked around, you never really saw any work, it was all hidden. But now, of course, you walk through the main studio building, which is totally open, and it's astonishing, that whole world of activity. It's like a hive. It's kind of almost like bees working away.
The original art school was a 19th century building with a top-lit gallery and painting spaces at the back. And then that connected to the 1960s building. We were interested in, if we were the third layer of this story, how we would make a positive and meaningful connection back to the existing buildings. And so our third layer was to make a linking gallery that connected back to every floor of the tower through a bank of lifts, but also a series of stairs and bridges that made more connectedness and more wholeness between the new part and the existing.
The other thing that was kind of parked in the back of our minds that Field and Clegg Bradley, the architects, drew out was this sense of a northern factory. So at the front of a northern factory, you have the kind of showroom where the goods would be showed to the clients, you bring people in, it's a slightly higher spend, it's a slightly posher area, and behind that you've got the shed, you've got the workshops where the making is done.
We were really interested in drawing out the inherent qualities of each of the materials we used. From the concrete, where we developed a language of casting of the concrete, which gave us very sharp edges, and an exploration of different textural qualities. So there are 3 grades. There's rough in the stairwells, smooth generally, and then decorative in the special moments. The decorative concrete columns, which were developed with the art school in collaboration, and they're based on a design by a tutor at Manchester School of Art in the 1890s called Lewis Day.
We discovered this process where you can cut a rubber blanket and wrap that inside a concrete former, and then the architects very bravely decided to go for a double-height pour just to make things even more difficult for the contractors, but the results are beautiful, and everybody who comes into the building kind of gravitates towards these double-height columns with a little bit of history.
This building is all about light. The way that we've actually sort of created a series of sort of cascading floor plates, almost like a landscape of floors, allows light deep into the space so that we actually can still get a combination of people working together, but also getting good natural daylight.
The new building is very open, and it's very much similar to my campus in India. So actually in India also we used to have all the departments together, and there is a kind of openness. Even if you don't interact also much, but just by seeing things around, what's happening in the three-dimensional design and what's happening in the graphics, it actually helps me to understand what is going around throughout.
Private spaces no longer exist actually, what you'll find are lots of spaces that are intersected by passageways, by walkways, by stairwells, by glass partitions, that whatever you're doing, it's almost a performance.
It's a really sort of exciting space, and in terms of the degree shows and the catwalk show, that's been brilliant because these spaces are amazing and we can now show the work in a really sort of professional way.
Everyone's under one roof, and that shed-like space that's described does work, and it is like a multidisciplinary sort of area for all different kinds of students, illustration, graphics, to work together. It's just quite interesting how it's impacted other courses to open their eyes to what we do as well, which is really nice.
There's more embroidery being incorporated in, and I think that's good because although we're influencing them, they're also influencing us as well, which I think is nice, because then I think it's a more diverse outcome this year, maybe compared to other years. It's a bigger variety.
We really stepped back from a very traditional model of art education and thought about, rather than disciplines, the way in which professional artists behave, how they work in multidisciplinary teams, how they learn from each other. And so the whole concept of the building was actually informed by art practice and art education.
It's great to see it in show mode. The work is astonishingly good, and it really feels like a gallery. We were always interested in this duality of character of the school, because they do have to have spaces that are both working, functioning production spaces, but also can be turned into really great show spaces. And that was one of the really interesting experiments of the project, and it's so gratifying to see that actually it shows really well.
It's the forefront of where creativity, invention, and working in different ways actually will happen, rather than separate silos.
The Vice-Chancellor said something before we started this building, that he wanted us to have the facilities that we deserve. And I think we've got them facilities now. We're a very good art school, and to walk in that door in the morning is fantastic.